Hey everybody, welcome to Real People Real Estate, where we sit down with real people right here in Western Massachusetts who are doing awesome things in or adjacent to real estate. And before I actually hop over to my awesome guest who's with us today, wanted to just say that this is our 24th episode and it's our season finale for our first year recording here with East Hampton Media. We do have a season 2 coming up at the end of the summer where we're going to dive in more to the challenges and opportunities around housing inventory in Western Massachusetts. So stay tuned for that. But now I want to focus on our season finale guest. We have Sasha Wilde here from Sexton Roofing and Siding. Welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
Awesome, Lindsay.
Good.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're here. It's always fun to chat. We know each other fairly well at this point. And so I'm going to ask you some questions I already know the answer to. But for our viewers, will you just let us know how you came here to Western Massachusetts?
Yeah. So we came here when we bought Sexton Roofing and Siding, actually exactly 3 years ago now. June 9th, we closed on the business, so we are almost exactly there.
Let's actually do a cheers, because for our season finale, we also have some Glendale Ridge wine that we are enjoying. So this is extra special today.
It's extra.
3 years. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's huge. Do you know the percentage of small businesses that make it past their first year? I don't offhand, but I know it's very small.
Yes. I don't know. I think 1 year's like 50% of businesses make it past that, and then it's the 3 to 5 year mark that is more like 20 to 30% of businesses make it past that.
Well, congratulations. So Western Massachusetts. So you were not here originally. You picked this area. What did that process look like?
Yeah. So we wanted to stay in New England. We have a lot of family in the area, and when we had our first child, we were actually living in Illinois, and we're like, this is too far from family. So we moved back to New England. So we wanted to stay within New England. Mm-hmm. That was very important for us.
Yeah. And you were in New Hampshire before?
We were, yeah. Good memory.
Okay. And so you started looking for businesses. How did that come about?
Yeah, that really came about when one of our friends bought a business. And that was literally the day I was like, oh my gosh, you can do that?
Yeah.
So I dove in and was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't super satisfied with all the career moves I was making.
Sure.
I'm a little impatient in like development. Like I like to be challenged and constantly grow. And I wasn't getting that out of my career.
Yeah.
So I started looking into this. Like I've always wanted to, be the leader of my company. This is a really cool way to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you decided, why not just own a business?
Why not
definitely
just
be the leader?
Own a business.
For better or for worse. So
yeah.
That's awesome. So you started looking for businesses, and did you narrow it down to a few? I mean, how did you end up with Sexton Roofing ultimately?
Yeah, we started, we looked at literally everything. We even looked at a Chinese food restaurant.
Wow. Okay.
There's a funny story behind that, but we decided against restaurants.
Yeah.
And we really narrowed it down to home services, something that everybody always needs.
Yeah.
And can't easily be outsourced.
Yeah. Yeah. And so since we're focusing on real estate in Western Massachusetts, how important was it once you found the business to also make sure that this is a good fit for your family and your own housing needs here?
Yeah. I mean, we hadn't really considered Western Mass as a home for us. Like, funny story, we had briefly looked at Greenfield a few years back before we decided to move to New Hampshire and decided it was too small of a city, which is funny with where I ended up.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we found the business, we actually came here for a week-long vacation and wanted to make sure that we were going to want to live here, because this is long-term for us.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going anywhere. Western Mass can't get rid of us, and I'm so glad.
We don't want to get rid of you. So,
yeah, perfect.
So that's
yeah,
good.
so we actually spent a week-long vacation here in March of 23 and kind of fell in love with the town.
That's awesome. And what part of your visit here, that week that you spent in Northampton, really sealed the deal for you? Was there something that made you feel like this is definitely home?
Yeah, I think Northampton, it's all the restaurants, all the cafes, the really cool little vibe with it. We stayed in an Airbnb kind of across town, but still like downtown. And we found Familiar's Cafe in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And I think I'll never forget that memory
Yeah.
of trudging through the streets with like 6 to 8 inches of snow
Oh my gosh.
with our little 18-month-old
little one.
and going to get coffee.
Yeah, well, shout out to Familiars because they're an awesome, awesome establishment that we get to enjoy. So you had that initial trip, decided, you found the business, you found the spot that felt like home. What was that first year in business like for you?
Oh boy, yeah, challenging, genuinely challenging. We did not know what we were getting into when we acquired a business.
Yeah.
Probably for the better. Because now I absolutely love what I do. But if you had asked me maybe those first 6-8 months if I could just give it back, get my money back, walk away, I would have done it. It was so incredibly challenging and stressful.
Yeah.
And to be in the business, it was at first just Tim and I, Tim, my husband.
Yeah.
And to be working with your spouse in such a high stress situation, I'll say it a million times, very challenging.
Yeah, well, you're already raising a young family together and then raising a business together too.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of opportunities to communicate, right?
Yes.
As someone who worked with family my whole life, I can understand that. But, I think people often ask me that. And when it works, right? I think you just eventually figure out when you're going to talk about business and when you're not going to. And by the way, you just only ever talk about business all the time. So.
Yes, I think one of the keys to our success, though, was the day we decided to stop talking about business after the kids went to sleep.
It's so hard.
We were like, no more talk about business after like 8 p.m. because no conversation was going positively.
Right. You have to shut it off at some point. Yeah, absolutely. So what in that first year, you say, you'd maybe want to give the business back. What were some of those challenges? And how did you overcome that? Because, we just said statistically, a lot of businesses fail in the first year or after that succession transfer.
Well, having no plan B helps. There was no other option besides to figure out how to make this work.
Yeah.
Some of the things that were really helpful, we had strong vendor relationships when we bought the business, or I should say Sex and Roofing had strong vendor relationships. So they were really invested in our success.
Yeah.
And, an example is like I would put in material orders, and if something didn't look quite right or I forgot something, the vendor would actually call me. And they'd be like, did you mean to include drip edge? And I was like, yes, thank you so much. Please send whatever number of pieces of drip edge to this property.
Yeah.
So they really had our backs and helped us with the learning curve because our, the seller, great man that he was, self-proclaimed terrible teacher.
Okay.
So we had to get our learning kind of the hard way. And we definitely made mistakes.
Yeah.
And, I always say you're going to make mistakes, but it's what you learn from them that matters.
Right.
So we learned a lot of things the hard way.
Yeah.
But perhaps in the long run, those lessons will stick with us.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to look at it. At what point do you feel like you woke up one day and stopped feeling like you would give the business back? Or maybe that sometimes still happens, but was there a moment or a reason that you can point to where you finally felt like, all right, we got this?
Yeah, when we finally had a team in place that could support us and allow us to kind of take a step back and take a break every once in a while.
Yeah.
We actually got to go on a vacation last year.
Yeah, that's huge.
While they still reached out to us, like everything was running.
Yeah.
And huge shout out to my team for being the awesome people that they are.
That's great.
And allowing us to take a vacation and being able to spend time with family again.
It's so important. Yeah. And I think maybe that's a different value system than there was previously, potentially from prior generations of sort of just like work until you retire and then retirement's your enjoyment period versus trying to have, I hate the word balance because frankly I don't have any. So therefore I don't. I know. I always
integration.
Yes,
right?
Whatever it is. But yeah, to be able to have a team to support you and let you have a little bit of time, that's huge. So I'm glad you get to do that. Did you feel like there were any particular organizations or anybody in the community, greater Northampton community, that really were an impetus in your success?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you. Probably February of 24, so we'd owned the business for 8 months at the time. I went to my first Greater Northampton Chamber of Commerce event, and I feel like from that moment on, I was supported in everything we wanted to do. I can't shout out the Chamber enough for how much support they show, and I always refer small local businesses to them because of that reason.
That's great. And I think you get what you give too. I mean, 100% I support the Chamber as well. And also though, you didn't just become a member, you started going to all of the events, and not only going, but building those connections and then sponsoring and building the community even further. So I think you've walked the talk as well as far as integrating yourself in community, which is huge, especially in our area where everybody values those connections across the region.
100%.
So you never looked like you were having a moment where you wanted to give your business back, for the record. But
that's good.
Glad I know that
Projecting
now.
outward confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. So from a homeowner's perspective, what do you feel like people are most surprised about when it comes to anything to do with their let's stick with roofing. I know you do siding and you do other things too, but that's beyond my scope. So what do you think they're most surprised about when it comes to their roofs?
Yeah, probably that their roof is not going to last as long as the manufacturer's warranty claims that it lasts.
Okay.
A lot of people in the last probably 15, 30 years were sold like 30-year shingles. And as much as I would love for your roof to last 30 years, the reality of a shingle in New England is more like 18 to 20 years.
Okay.
So that's probably one of the things we run into the most is someone's like, well, they said I had a 30-year roof. I'm like, I would love to tell you that it could last 30 years. Yeah. But just the reality is not there.
Yeah, that's right. It makes sense, right? I mean, our weather patterns and everything are very different probably than a roof that's, I don't know where, I was going to say sunny California or something, but
it's different. You know, we fight with a lot of different environmental impact, like snow, a lot of heat cycling, hot summers, tree coverage. You know, tree coverage means that your roof stays damp longer, and that encourages like organic growth, like moss and algae.
Right. What are some, I know you want to replace people's roofs, so you don't want them to take care of their roof, but no, knowing you do want them to. So what are some of the biggest preventative or care measures that you think people should be doing to get that potentially 30 years of life?
Well, what I mentioned about tree coverage, like definitely be trimming things away from your roof.
Yep.
A, it like keeps your roof moist longer, and B, it could fall on your roof, and then you have to replace it sooner. Having proper attic ventilation is actually a huge thing that most people assume they have, and most homes in New England, because of how old houses are, don't have. And that basically, say a house from the 1700s doesn't have ventilation, your attic is 120 degrees. Yeah. And it's sunny and hot outside. So you can think of it that you're cooking your roof from the outside and the inside.
Oh, wow.
Which means your shingles will not last as long.
Right. Yeah, interesting. And then so probably likewise when people are thinking about buying a home, anything other than what you've mentioned about that type of maintenance, do you think home buyers should really look out for? I think that's the hardest thing when you haven't owned a home. You probably don't know how to really look at a roof.
Yeah, I can honestly say that before I owned a roofing company, I hadn't. Now it's the only thing I look at.
I was going to say.
Driving down the street, I'm like, they need a roof?
Yeah,
no, they're good. Yeah. So what I would look at as a homeowner, easy check to kind of tell if the roof is really aging, look at the bottom of the downspouts and see if there's granule loss.
Okay.
That's literally like the coating on the shingle, the granules.
Yeah.
If it's losing granules, that's a sign of an aged roof that's going to be needing replacement. I can't tell you exactly when, but it's getting old and should be evaluated further. Yeah. And that's something that's easy to check while you're like there. Look at the bottom of the downspout and just see what you see.
Okay. That's a good trick. Yeah. What about insurance requirements? Have you noticed any changes with people getting having insurance challenges because of roof age or condition?
Yes. Okay, there's 2 points here I want to make.
Okay.
Definitely, we're seeing that more in the last maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because we've only been in the business for 3 years, and the first year was just like, had no capacity to process this. But we've definitely seen it in the last couple of years where insurance companies call homeowners and say, hey, your roof is 20 years old. You need to replace your roof in order to stay insured.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for that homeowner, it actually doesn't matter what condition your roof is in. If your insurance company says your roof is 20 years old and you need to replace it, even if we come out and say, like, I mean, maybe you could probably get another couple of years out of this.
Yeah.
We still have to provide you that quote so that you can replace it because of the insurance company.
Right.
Yeah. And then, oh my God, what was my other point? My other point. Currently, some of the manufacturers are out there selling 50-year warranties on shingles.
Wow.
And this is maybe one of my biggest like sticking points around warranties and contractors and manufacturers not properly managing expectations of homeowners.
Yeah.
You might have a 50-year warranty on your roof, but your shingle is not going to last 50 years. And your insurance company is still going to tell you in 20 years that you need to replace your roof.
Right.
So.
And I bet that warranty is not going to cover the replacement,
And
right?
the warranty is not going to cover the replacement because it's very specifically manufacturer defects, which if you've gotten to 20 years on your roof, it's very unlikely that you're going to experience a manufacturer's defect because it's lasted this long.
Right.
Most warranties, callbacks happen within the first 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So people are kind of getting false advertisement, basically.
Yeah. It's just tricky if it's not like explained correctly by the contractors. And I think it's unclear from the manufacturer because they kind of want to promote this rosy picture. So I don't think it's ill-intentioned on anyone's part.
Yeah.
But it's important for homeowners to know that a 50-year shingle is not going to last 50 years.
Yeah, right. Right. And it sounds like probably closer to 20, if that.
In New England specifically, yeah.
Yeah. And the way the insurance companies are looking at things too, that's huge. And I would imagine that when people have to replace their roof out of the blue when they're not expecting to, that's probably a pretty big financial burden on them too.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
I mean, we offer financing to help the best that we can, but I don't like it. I don't like hearing when insurance companies are calling and telling homeowners you need to replace your roof.
Yeah. Right.
Unless they actually need a roof.
Right.
It's tough.
Right. Yeah. Do you see any change in the way that people are thinking about their roofs recently? I mean, has this information caught up with the general public yet? Are people being more proactive? Or do you think it's a message that we should really be getting out there to folks?
I'd say it's a message we should be getting out there.
Yeah.
There are a fair number of people that just reach out and be like, hey, I know my roof is getting old.
Yeah. I was
can
wondering
you come
that.
look
Like,
at
are people really excited about replacing their roof? Or is it kind of like, all right, I gotta,
I'd love to be like, roofing.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
it's kind of like on my other hat I wear, right? People aren't like, yes, I get to get a 30-year mortgage right now. This is great.
I love these interest rates.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
one's reaching out because they're like excited to replace their roof.
Yeah.
Unless they're doing some of the cooler materials like metal.
Yeah.
But like if you're just trying to replace your roof because you have to replace your roof,
Yeah.
it's just a need.
I'll make sure I'm very enthusiastic whenever I need to call you in the future. So let's talk about solar, because your roof is under the solar panels most of the time. So the roof probably has to be a certain quality before putting solar panels on, I would imagine. Do you do inspections often ahead of solar, or is there any kind of collaborative work that happens there?
Yeah, we definitely like to collaborate when somebody is getting or considering getting solar on their roof. Maybe a few things to think about. Age of roof. So, if your roof is under 10 years old, I wouldn't tell you to get a new roof or replace that when you're doing solar, because you still have a lot of good life left on that roof. Now, if your roof is getting to be the 12 to 15 years and older, solar panels are going to last, 20 to 25 years. Something to think about is you'll need a new roof well before that. So you'll need to hire somebody. Usually, if it's leased, it's the solar company that you hired, did the installation originally, comes out and removes the solar panels and places them back on.
Yeah.
Which can be tricky with scheduling.
Sure, right.
So planning and scheduling around that can happen. If you own the solar panels outright, it can be expensive to remove and replace. So we advise when it makes sense for people to align the life of the roof with the life of the solar panels. So like if you have a 15-year-old roof and you're considering solar, it probably makes sense to replace at least that facet of roof that's getting the solar panels.
Right.
The other thing we like to do when we know somebody's getting solar is install what's called ice and water barrier or a leak barrier.
Oh, yeah.
On that entire facet. So what's great about that is when the solar company does come and they just put a bunch of holes in our brand new roof, which makes us cry a little.
Yeah.
When they screw through that ice and water, it'll actually like make a seal.
Okay.
So you're a lot more secure knowing that everywhere that they've screwed through on your roof is actually going to reseal itself.
Yeah, that's an important tip for viewers and listeners to know. So I had said before, other than roofing, you also do have some other sectors of your business. So anything that stands out to you that homeowners should be aware of when it comes to siding or any of the other work that you're doing now?
I think maybe, as much as we love selling siding and installing siding, that's more of a want to have. Things that are more necessary
are something people are excited to call you about.
People are excited about siding. They're like, I want to replace my ugly vinyl siding
make it
with
pretty,
something.
You see it more than your roof.
It's definitely aesthetically pleasing. But maybe something more important is checking out your windows.
Okay.
Checking out your entry door. I know we actually purchased a home using you guys last fall in South Deerfield. And what we didn't know at the time, and probably should have figured out by the giant gaps between our entry door and the entry door frame, very drafty. So trying to understand, okay, how old are your windows and doors? Are they single pane? Are they double pane? Are they triple pane? Are they Energy Star certified? There's like a million keywords I can throw out there. But basically, like, you're trying to understand how much money are you going to have to spend on heating and cooling this property.
Makes a big difference.
And if you have a large property, then you really want to make sure that your windows and your doors are not drafty and that they are providing the insulation, the best insulation that you can.
Yeah, definitely. It all goes hand in hand.
It does.
Roofing, siding, windows, insulation, garage doors. What's your next business going to be?
Maybe garage doors.
Yeah, there you go. It sounds like it. Well, thank you for all of your insights today. Speaking of potential future goals, what's the vision for Sexton Roofing or just for you? Anything you want to leave our viewers and listeners with? Yeah,
I mean, I'm first of all grateful that we've been able to move to Western Mass and become a part of this community. I say it like every time I speak, I love being a part of this community. And so I want Sexton Roofing to be like a legacy business. I want it to be here forever. I want it to be run locally. Me personally, I want to keep Sexton, but I also want to keep growing, evaluating other local businesses that add like community value, other local home services companies. I have ambitious plans, and I'd love to own a whole little group of home services businesses that can do anything and everything for you, run on our core values. I have no doubt that will happen sometime. And someday we'll be on season 12 of Real People Real Estate with your whole umbrella of businesses. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate having you on. And thank you to our viewers and listeners for tuning in to Real People Real Estate. That wraps up our first season, our first year. We appreciate all of you, and thanks to East Hampton Media for the production. Tune in for season 2 that'll be coming up at the end of the summer. And cheers to you, Lindsay. Oh, cheers. Thanks.